see T1 all the way on top, but boom, they are slowly making their way back up.
Yeah, it's not too big of a disparity, right? The graphs are fairly even, only really Carl's pulling ahead. So you are doing a great job from Boom to manage this weaker, slightly weaker early game where their presence just isn't as strong. Again, they did have that big chrono opportunity top. It's hard to find those opportunities. T1's been much more on point with how they split themselves up, and they understand Jackie doesn't want to join these fights anyway. He is going for the Maelstrom next, so he's trying to look for that additional attack speed and damage procs in the chrono, and of course farming speed. So once you have that, it starts to feel better. Playing tag a little bit with Gabby up top. They do have the X, so they see Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie. I mean, he's got the chrono available, but doesn't really want to commit it in this instance. Instead, he'll let Tims die, and that's fine. It's a 4-hero rotation for a pos 4 Grimstroke. It's not that big of a deal as long as Jackie gets his way out, and well, for the rest of Boom, they're just across the map farming, which is something they desperately need right now. So T1, while they do infiltrate the dire triangle, they are not finding the hero pickoffs they want with this timing.
No, and they don't even find any massive stacks. Not many built up by Boom. They've been working the map a little bit more. Jackie's just been farming the bot jungle anyway. So you're not taking too many resources away from his face's void. Still having that time to meet. And for the side of T1, I think you're fine with that, just because Gabby is still farming. Like, he's still saving up for Radiance. You don't really mind. Spectre can always join these fights with Haunt. If you just find a support, that's fine. You just save the Haunt for the next one. So the waiting game is favorable for both sides. I do worry about handling the Spectre down the line, but Boom looks like they're starting to set with their invasions as well. Going into that opposite triangle. Don't find anyone themselves. No major stacks as well, though.
Yeah, Whitemon, first target here. Not the biggest deal for T1 to lose, but will end up dropping the Jakiro as Yopaj, once again with the Inkswell combination, has a very easy time to jump in on the supports. They do want to try and go after that T1 mid tower now, I'm sure. They've got the Serpent Wards available on that Shadow Shaman. Zephyr is going to make it rather hard though on that tree. You're going to have the Living Armor, you're going to have the Nature's Grasp to take care of the creep wave, and it's not going to be that easy of an affair for Boom Esports here in the mid tier 1.
Definitely not. I think for Boom, they might actually want to hold on to the wards just to go for Roshan instead. It feels like a bigger, safer objective to take, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the living armor. There is some team fight potential from T1 with a Haunt.
Yeah, he's not having a great time here, Whitemon. Jakiro, not the fastest moving hero in the world, and well, every time they see him, they will just chase him down for a very free kill.
Yeah, and then just, I mean, it's as you said, not the biggest kills, but that is racking up for Yopaj. That's racking up for even Tims to start working on to what he wants as well. And our Void Spirit's reaching a pretty nice point. Yule's up now on Yopaj. He can set up with the remnants. He can start to isolate these bigger cores before the BKBs come online. And BKBs are about to come online though. Cuckoo, recipe away. Carl, pretty much recipe, it's pretty much done, flying out his BKB. So the spell immunity timing is there for T1, but they have to recognize that power spike. Because they had that same timing in game 1. They didn't capitalize on it. If they don't capitalize here, you're playing right into what Boom wants, to build up big on the Void.
I mean, they're still huge in terms of net worth. I think it's a great time for T1 to go, and they will get it done now. T1 gonna wrap around with a smoke, maybe into the dyed triangle, but no, they're gonna head down south. Boom, they do get scanned out. Jackie, Yopaj, they're making the jump in onto Gabby, but this could be terrible timing. Meanwhile, FBZ, he does have the Aghanim Scepter. It could be great timing for him. Scam is going to get jumped. Gabby wants to get rid of the Shaman. Hex is out. Serpent Wards are down, but he is going to die. Meanwhile, Tims will follow. They want more, though. They found both supports, but can they find Yopaj? There's no step charges available for the Void Spirit. He does get silenced up, and they found him. That's a great kill for T1. That's what you want to see. Not just both supports going down, but rather that mid laner. And with that T1, they'll move into the bot T1 tower.
I like seeing this aggression. They know they've got a bit of an edge. With the BKBs up, they just fully commit for the fight. Force the issue. Boom doesn't quite have the response. Very staggered. Coming in to jump. Gabby, not respecting the Haunt as a disengaged tool, and they get caught off guard by it. Boom, still need time for Jackie to build up here, Mike. Maelstrom up. Farm is racking up for a Void, but still going to be a bit longer there.
It certainly is. You've seen the replay of that last team fight, and we talked about this during the drafting phase, John, but it's very, very difficult playing these kind of supports into a Spectre. Gabby's been doing a fantastic job every time he pops that ulti at just finding it where both supports are. And he does have the Radiance up, so he's got plenty of damage to deal with both those supports. But now at least, Boom, they just cannot deal with the Spek. Every time that Haunt's available, you just can't fight.
Yeah, they've got to force these fights when they know Haunt's been expended. This is a window for them if they want to go. The mischance is making it pretty hard for Jackie to commit, though. Like the burn damage, the burn chance, the burn mischance, and then the evasion on top of it does make the Spek really tanky, and we're a long ways away from seeing Jackie go for something like an MKB. Still working towards his own BKB, still a ways off. T1, all T1 needs to do now is just take a tier 2, perhaps top, take the outpost, secure Roche, and then it starts to feel pretty scary for Boom. Yeah, you've got the Ags up on FBZ. He has been having a lot of impact. It does feel like we need to see his talent tree build up here as well, Mike. The Brewlings are starting to feel pretty squishy against that Spectre, against the DPXO, and against Razor.
Oh, that's not the jump in. Skem does get caught. Carl is going to get stunned up. Yokash going to protect the Shaman, but not for long. Skem, he's burning out. FBZ, Chrono out. Jackie, he's got 2. Carl in big trouble. The overgrowth, it'll save for now. Yokash, he's back in. The DP, though, he's not dying. Spirit Siphons are there. Carl, he'll survive another day. FBZ still trying to chase him down, but they haven't got the damage output. Can they get it? FBZ surely no. Carl, he'll siphon again. Oh, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Another split out, but Carl, he's going to be very happy with himself there, as they will try to turn around. Maybe he's gone too far this time, Carl. He'll try to reinitiate. Big silence out. Yopaj this time. He's gone too far. The Void Spirit in big trouble. Siphons out. Carl still alive somehow. As they'll chase for a bit more. Onto Yopaj. The dagger's not going to connect, but they're chasing him down very well as the Aether Remnant is going to kind of give away that he is still around. Crypt Swarm. Oh, it's right on target. Right on target. And there's your voice lines. Carl, do you want to tip, sir? It's a great time to tip, Carl.
It would be a perfect time. They're having issues with that EHP here, Mike. Damage issues for Boom. Chrono with a double damage. They couldn't get enough. DD on the Void was just not enough to get anything done. And I think the side of T1 are starting to recognize that, yeah, Boom needs way more. We are very strong right now. We're going to run up with our spell immunity, going to run up with this timing we have on Gabby. And Boom, for their part, need to kind of sit back. They need a Spirit Vessel up here, Mike. They need a wave mitigating that regen on the Death Prophet. Maybe you could go Scotty as well for Jackie, but again, that's so far away. For the next 5 to 10 minutes, just feels like T1's always going to be able to dictate how these fights go.
Oh, it's been an incredible game here for T1, at least for game 2, as they are trying once again to make the jump on Gabby here down at bot lane, but they just don't have the damage. They just don't have enough damage. I mean, Jackie, he's farming BKB, but John, there's an old saying in SCA Dota, BKB, no damage.
It really doesn't. I mean, it gives a little, right? Like, from Mithril Hammer, just not enough.
Literally 0, John.
0 in the eyes of our pub players. Pros know better. At the least, they know better. Still, like, yeah, the BKB is going to be nice, but you are right, though. Where is the damage? Because it doesn't feel like they have control issues right now. It just feels like the output's not enough. Perhaps, you know, saving that BKB for Overgrowth's going to be big. T1 are going for a pretty big smoke around here, though, Mike.
Where are they going? Towards the north they go. Cuckoo, your front line. Who are they going to find? Jackie. He'd be a great target, but the scans are out. They know exactly where they are. Jackie's going to be fine. The smoke. Oh, Cuckoo still having a look. Eventually does give up on it. Immediately, Boom will rotate over to the Void to make sure that he is going to be just fine. Boom in back. They're going to smoke up themselves now. Mid lane, who are they going to find? Gabby, once again, he's a tough target. You haven't got the damage for that man. They'll drop the Serpent Wards defensively, trying to block the pathway as Zephyr. He's going to be chased himself now, but the Overgrowth should keep him safe as here come the rotations. Here come the Cavalry T1. They're going to zone in from the backside. Yopaj in trouble already. Cuckoo, he'll drain a bit of damage, but does eventually back off as Zephyr. Somehow still alive. We'll have the Holy Locket. Meanwhile, Gabby, where's he gone? He'll chase them the supports once again. Tims, they are trying to survive with Skem. The Soulbind is going to come out. The Shadow Amulet keeping him alive, but not for long. T1 at least able to find the Grimstroke. And mind you, John, that was a smoke rotation from Boom.
Yeah, they really force out the aggression. Yopaj in the initial jump kind of missed out on the Remnant, so they couldn't get the chain lockdown, and they do want to kill off the Spek. It doesn't feel like they have enough output to really handle that. It just feels like such a tanky hero with the dispersion up. And I think you have to set your eyes elsewhere. Maybe you just manage Cuckoo, maybe you try to isolate Carl, try to stop that sustain out, and maybe at least waste an exorcism. Boom haven't been finding those openings. A 4K lead up now for T1, as they have found ways to start fights. You know, they're coming in, they run up, they're the ones dictating these engagements, and it's Boom that's been responding a little bit more here. You need a lot more time still to build up.
Carl's gonna move in, FBZ, gets silenced up, doesn't have a way to purge that off. He needs to get the split off, but he can't get it in time. Well, Carl, they're having a very good game, T1. Roshan's up, it's time to go.
Yeah. Still have the EXO running, still a lot of duration on that. With the Arcane Rune as well, so can have a pretty short cooldown on that, go onto the high ground with that Aegis up. Boom do have really good high ground. Every single time we see that Void, high ground defense is one of their shining points, and they could even contest Roche if they make it in time here.
I mean, Yopaj could go for the steal right here. We know he's done it many times before. Roshan, though, not low enough yet. It looks like they won't even risk it. They'll try for the team fight instead. Who are they chasing? They'll find Tims on the Grimstroke. X will be there, Jackie. He'll pop the Chrono onto 2. They'll try for the Zephyr. Cream protect them, they'll find it. That's 1 down. Cuckoo now getting bashed up, but the BKB's about to wear off. Jackie, he might move back in. Yopaj, he certainly will. They want the Razor. They might just have him. Primal split out. FBZ, he should have the damage, but Cuckoo still walking away. Here comes Gabby. Here comes Carl. They found Yopaj. FBZ, he's lost all his Brewlings. He'll split back to the main one, but it's not going to be enough. FBZ, he's gone too far. They just don't have the damage, and there's your tip out. There's your tip out from Carl. You love to see it.
Yeah, he's coming out with the tips. He's been more patient, not tipping so early on. But T1 are feeling it now. Great team fight coming out. It did cost them a buyback out from Zephyr, but the overgrowth was very impactful at the end. They know that once Chrono's gone, Boom doesn't have the best ways of running up anymore. Like, yeah, BKBs fade, but you're not at the point where you can just consistently get the Ink Swells off anymore. Combine that with your Void Spirit jumping around, and it gives a massive opportunity for T1 to just get that ball rolling. So secondary life up for Gabby. He's working towards the Ags now, Mike. Even more uptime on that Haunt, because that's still a thing.
Look at
they
this.
can look at that fight again.
How did Yopaj die? Silence came out. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage, Gabby. He's hitting like a truck right now. With the Desolate, it's just too much.
Yeah, and that overgrowth at the end, locking in Yopaj just for that one last attack, not giving him the opportunity to jump away, did manage to snag them that kill. So the buyback from Zephyr ended up paying off. 15-8, 7K lead for T1. Boom. I mean, it just feels like they need to play for time. You have to maybe accept that you're going to lose some tier 2s at this point. You have to accept that you need way more in your Faceless Void to get going. You need way more, even on your Brewmaster. Like, the refresh has to come out. Spirit Vessel still has to come in as well for FBZ. Yopaj, one part away from the Ags. That could be the turning point. Early way to force out some BKBs, retreat, rewind for the next fight.
Well, T1 gonna go for that bottom tier 2 tower. Jackie trying to farm up an Eye of Skadi right now, but again, damage is lacking. T1, nothing to be afraid of. They'll just keep going. They understand how powerful they are at the moment. And Gabby gonna have the axe up himself, John. That's a scary, scary time. If you are one of these supports of Boom, I mean, it's already been so rough for them. Now you just have a guaranteed way of picking off anyone across the map. Especially when that axe is there. They might not even need it, John. They're onto the tier 3 bottom tower now. T1 looking for that draw here against Boom Esports. See if they can slow this down or defend. Yopaj will get the Ink Swell back into the backside. Not going to be able to connect on anyone. Not a great start for Boom. They'll hold down the Spectre. But the Shaman is going to have to back off as Gabby. He'll just keep going. He's got the secondary life anyway. There's your Chrono out. They want Carl on the DP. They'll drop everything, but they've got the roots out. Jackie still trying to get it done. Carl, he can't survive this time around. He's gone. It's a 4v5 situation. In fact, make that a 4v4. They've got the Shaman. They've got Tim's down. Yopaj, he's going to back out of there, but Gabby, he's all over him. Dissimulate out. Cuckoo, he's got the damage right by the fountain. Tims, he will drop another time. That's a dieback, but Jackie, he'll get the bash. Mid TP out. They might at least find the Razor. FBZ, have they gone too far here on T1, or have they not, Jonathan? They are still fighting. They're almost thinking about fountain diving here. They are going to back off. FBZ gonna try and hold them back as Scamp's gonna die back as well. Oh, that's terrible. Tips out again for Yopaj. Carl's really giving it to him, John, as FBZ gets caught out. He's the fourth. It's just Jackie left. He touches the rewind button. It's not going to be enough. Jackie's gone.
Oh
no buyback available. Tips out for T1. Is that just it?
They're still protected from Megas. Tier 2 still stand there, Mike. So their high ground's not under immediate threat. Boom still has something to play for. The game's gotten infinitely harder, though. And they kept forcing that fight in. I do like that Jackie is focusing on these bigger heroes, but he doesn't have the items to get that damage done. He popped his BKB way too early. Right before the overgrowth came out, he had to pop BKB. Didn't catch Zephyr in that chrono, so that opportunity came out. And then all those small things, when you're reliant on that Void to do damage, is just adding up. Like, you don't have that play in the chrono. You don't have a hero that just stands outside, does damage, like, say, Alina, to kind of contribute there. You don't have those combinations, so it's all in on just Jack.
Oh my goodness, look at Tim's. He'll Glimmer Cape in time, but it just, the amount of damage. He used Haunt and the Shadow Step, and he just melted it.
Yeah, it just rips through, and those supports, as you said, Mike, they're not very durable. So you've got to watch yourself there on Boom. High ground still being pure to Yopaj.
Jump in, they're going to try and deal with Gabby, but again, he's got that secondary life available. Aegis is still up. They've got to try and find the backside. It's just not that easy. You see how long it takes them to try and take down Carl. He's got his BKB up. Exorcism popped. Confident days, there's your chrono though. Jackie, he's gonna give it his best shot. On to the DP they go. Maybe they have the damage this time. Carl still dropping, does end up going down onto Cuckoo. They want that Razor. Jackie, he should have the bashes. He should have the control, but a great ice path. Whitemon onto 3 as now Gabby will jump in with the Haunt out, but has he gone too far? They'll tornado him up. Meanwhile, FBZ, Zephyr jumping in. Another great ice path out from Whitemon. It's complete chaos in the mid lane. Yopaj, he does pick off the Zephyr's Dream Protector, but now he's in big trouble. Gabby will try to chase him down. There's another ice path out from Whitemon. He just can't miss. Is it just me, John, or is it cold in here?
Sure is getting chilly in that high ground of Boom. Whitemon's been on point with landing that control. Boom do still hold on to their high ground, though. They managed to play well enough. They get another good chrono out. Great double shackles out as well with the soul bind. And they hold on to those mid racks. They lose the tier 3. Rack still intact. That means that they can still keep trying to play. The Scotty eventually gonna form up here for Jackie, mitigating that healing coming out onto our DP in particular. It still does feel like handling the Spectre is just a task that's very, very difficult right now for Boom. Right, like, you're inching towards that refresh now in FBZ. You've got the Ags up on Yopaj. He does need that BKB for protection. So some of these items are coming online. But now it's starting to go to that point once more for Boom where it has to be executed nearly perfectly considering this net worth disadvantage. They've got to be on point with the Chronos, they've got to be able to back up Jackie, and FBZ has to be as disruptive as possible on that backline here.
Yeah, he does. He's been trying his absolute best, but the Brewlings, John, they just haven't been surviving. Within that Exorcism, within the Spectre Illusions, it's just so much damage flying out. And now, into the mid lane they go, they found Japoi. They want the Void Spirit, but he's going to be fine to dissimulate out. Mid-racks, though, under siege once again. How do you defend with that chrono up? They need 15 seconds for the chrono to be available, so Yopaj is going to make the jump in onto the Spectre. With the stun out, they'll just chip away. This time, Gabby does not have Aegis, so he will need to be a little bit more cautious with his positioning. As they'll pop the BKB on Cuckoo, they'll make sure they get the mid-racks. That's going to be enough for them. They'll play for next Roshan.
Play for next Roche, play for that next high ground siege. The side of Boom, pretty solid defense, all things considered. He managed to get some good chip damage away. The area denial of T1 is just really shining. Whitemon again, good macro power in between, forcing Yopaj to not be able to jump in and commit. And it's just starting to feel like it's all in and trying to get some big chronos. Jackie is inching towards that Scotty. It should be done after this Ancient Camp clears out. That is going to leave him without buyback. So it's a massive risk. It does feel necessary for Boom to take that risk. Even with buyback, the Void doesn't feel useless. Doesn't feel useful, that faces Void.
Yeah.
He has to find that damage in the chrono now. So we'll see if they will find that opportunity. Roshan, timer, 10 seconds away until we see that respawn.
Ooh,
And
both
both sides are smoking.
This could be the last one, John. No buyback available on Jackie. T1, they just need one more good fight. FBZ gonna see them, but a quick blink up from Zephyr. T1, they'll reposition, but they're still looking very confident as Jackie jumps in. There's your two-man chrono. Overgrowth's not going to connect Jackie. He's got free reign in this chrono. Cuckoo in big trouble. Somehow still alive. Inkswell out. They've got the damage this time, but Gabby, he's the main problem on the Spectre. They'll tornado him up. Meanwhile, Japoi, he's been caught out. No step charges available. Just trapped up. Is going to go down surely, or have they left him? No, he's alive. Japoi, he's somehow out of there. Oh, Zephyr.
Wait, what? What?
Zephyr doesn't have the damage.
Japoi, he makes it out. Barely in the nick of time, does survive. They are still playing tag. FBZ will manage to TP out here as well. No, does get stunned up, and FBZ.
Easy. Oh, he's going to try for the split. He committed the refresher orb, John. He's going down without buyback.
Yeah, that's a good kill coming out from T1. And you managed to take away the big aspect in these team fights now from Boom's end. That's caused them, a bit of a buyback from Cuckoo, but not the biggest deal in the world. Roshan is up. So T1 could play for that, knowing that there's no disruptive elements left, and knowing that the chrono's still down for a minute 10. There's no counterplay from Boom. 2 lives up, free Ag Shard as well. Inside of T1 should start to find that footing now onto the last set of racks, onto that tier 2, into the high ground.
Yeah. Here we go again, Roshan. I mean, I don't think Boom can allow this to go the way of T1, but it seems like they've got no choice in the matter. It's happening way too fast. T1 gonna happily take the shards and Aegis. Gabby will probably just take the Aegis once again. Shards? Gem? Anyone? Whitemon? It's always the supports that have to do it, John. They always have to pick up the trash that was left behind.
That is true. I'm curious about, like, the shard. Who did they maybe just give it to Zephyr? Oh? No, just hunting around. Cuckoo was holding on to that shard. I don't know if the Storm Surge is really useful here. I mean, it's pretty nice, I guess. It's his old passive.
Yeah.
On Razor, so,
It's something.
It's something.
Better than nothing, Jonathan. But, well, currently is nothing because it's in the backpack. So I guess it's not better than nothing.
It's getting scary though. You've got the Basher up now on Gabby, so you can just chain stun as well through the BKBs. Boom, they've got to do something special for this high ground defense. Got to be perfect with the Chronos and all the follow through here, Mike.
Yeah, Haunt and Shadow Step now back up, so these poor supports on Boom, they are in for a very, very rough time. Scam actually across the map right now. He's not even in the base. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be near this Spectre, but I don't think you can hide Scam. It doesn't matter where you go. Gabby's always watching. Gabby, he'll hold out for the Haunt for now. I mean, quite frankly, John, I reckon if he just pops it, he'll probably get at least 1-2 kills. Again, onto the supports, but he won't use it yet. He'll wait for the next team fight. In fact, it seems like they're in no rush. Gabby even going to go farm up a little bit more, so not looking to rush towards the top lane to push in that final lane of barracks. Boom Esports, I'm sure they'll be very thankful for that time.
They've got time to build up. They've got time to regroup.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Jackie being caught out. Scam gonna save the day with the Shaman. Jackie, though, will go for a bit of a run. Gabby still on the chase, still with the Basher, but not getting lucky. He won't chase any further. But no, they know Jackie is down for bot lane. They might start pressuring top lane here for T1. In fact, everyone from Boom's not around to defend this base at the moment. They've got to get back. T1. Oh, they're not gonna rush. It's like Yopaj, he's going to be around with the Void Spirit to try and defend this. Is that ward going to be a bit of a bait? Gabby will take care of it, no problem. Here we go. Tier 3 tower, top lane, they'll try. Scam immediately being jumped on here, but we'll be able to force staff away. They can't blow up the Shaman quite yet as Gabby gonna move in, but there's your chrono. It's all about Carl. Overgrowth is out though, locking down the Void. He cannot hit Carl at the moment, so it's free reign for T1 to turn around. They've got Jackie down. He's got buyback available, but they've got no chrono. In they go towards a fountain. Buyback's being committed by Boom, but how do you defend this?
I mean, without the chrono, it just just feels like you can't.
Oh, Jackie's copping the tips now, John. FBZ's getting jumped on. It's just so much damage here for Boom. FBZ, he'll get his second primal split off. Gabby into the backside. He's got Tim's down. Skem is gone as well. It's not looking good for Boom. They are still trying. Gabby is getting low. They're still trying to just chip away, get at least the Aegis down, but Gabby, he's got so much sustain. This man just does not believe in dying. As FBZ, he's into the backside, onto the Razor. Cuckoo dropping low, does eventually go down. Meanwhile, Shackle's out on Carl. They'll try to deal with the DP, but Cuckoo is eventually going to drop a Zephyr. Will drop as well. Boom. Are they doing it? Are they defending their base? Back with the Tornado, out onto Gabby. There goes Jackie in the backside, onto Whitemon. It's a 3v4 situation here. Boom have the advantage. Carl, he's getting too low. They've driven too deep. They'll take down another. Here we go. Gabby, the only one left in the base right now. Zephyr's trying to make his way back over, but they've got unlimited control. They've got Gabby down without buyback, but they are up against Mega Creeps. They're against Megas, but they have a chance.
You know what would make this really Southeast Asian, Mike? This is when you all chat on T1s and then say defend. That's it. You know, it's like, oh, okay, go defend, fine. You killed us there, great job. What are you gonna do now? You are 14k behind on Boom's end. T1's still in a really good position. You are getting that build up now on Jackie. He's catching up onto Carl, still a fair bit behind Gabby's net worth. But they have nothing to play for. There's no Roshan to take here for Boom to kind of solidify their position. They have to eat through a tier 1 mid. There's still tier 2s on every single lane.
Oh, look at this.
There's just no options here.
There's a tier 1 mid still standing. Yeah. Jeez. It's rough. There's no chance going high. Look at this Zephyr. He'll just commit the overgrowth. Just not gonna let Jay. Look at this.
Oh my.
He's just dragging it out. He's just buying more time for Gabby to be back up, and Gabby, he's having a great laugh to himself about it.
Yeah, they're stalling, and there's just nothing on the map, Mike. You take the tier 1, so what? You can't go for the tier 2s at that point. Roshan's still a mile away. T1 would have to make major mistakes for Boom to really bounce back. They need to repeat that sort of fight on that fountain dive. And they kind of need to just go look for a good chrono once more, get the damage focused in, dance around him a bit, kite around the Spectre if possible, and run from there. Respawns are fairly short. Kuka's already back up. Gabby not too far off. The tier 2s feel impossible to take. They will at least maybe just go for a bit of a warding run. But Roche, I mean, there's just nothing. I'm not sure what you can really do except just farm. T1 gonna go smoke up. They can just haunt around with the Spectre again.
Yeah, they're gonna try T1. They want to put a lid on this game right here, right now. Buybacks are rather low for both teams, but when you've only got your Page buyback available right now for Boom, so if you can find a couple kills, it's basically as good as GG, at least for T1 to finish off this game, as they are gonna try and loop around into the Dire base, but they need a way in. They're not feeling too safe to just walk up blindly. Keep in mind, FBZ, you'll have the refresher all back up now, so you are going to have 4 charges of Primal Split very soon. He does also end up buying a Radiant, so that's a nice way of being able to deal with the Mega Creeps for the Brewmaster. So they are planning to try and defend this as best as possible. And again, we did talk with Boom earlier. They need the 2-0 victory right here to feel a bit safer about their group stage standing. Naturally, T1, I mean, these two teams are rivals right now in the SEA scene. They don't want to give that over.
Definitely not. Again, historically, every single time these teams go up against each other, it's at least a 1-1 by game 2.
Yeah.
You know, it always goes that way, and then it's the game 3 decider. So in a best of 2 like this, where that 2-0 or 1-1 difference counts in a big way, it kind of makes it tough for these teams. You know, it just feels like neither one's ever going to find that 2-0. Boom in a very tough position to try to find that here, Mike. They are still trying. They're going to have this. They have the refresh up on Jackie, so double chrono available, or at least the option to buy back after first chrono if you do die and have the gold. You do have that play now for Boom. Still working against the Mega Creeps here, and their backs are against the wall. They have been doing a good job of shoving out the waves at the least, making T1 work into that high ground. Smoke play from T1 doesn't quite pay off. They've still got all the tools under their belt. They still have Haunt, they still have the Shadow Step as well, and they have a lot of options in just going in. They could hold out until next Roshan, which we'll find out in about 25 seconds when it will be up. So no rush. I mean, they've got the entire map in their hand.
They do. The T1 still a huge advantage here. 12k net worth lead, Mega Creeps against Boom, but you know when you get that feeling, John, that the game's just not over? You might see something special here, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this many, many times in the SCA DPC. These Mega Creep comebacks, they tend to happen more often than you'd think. Keep your eyes peeled as T1. They're looking for that draw here, but it's not over yet. Abyssal Blade to come out soon on Gabby. That'll certainly help the cause. What else are we having, though? Shiver's Guard on Carl. That'll definitely help. Cuckoo. Nothing queued up yet for him. You've got the Guardian Greaves coming out on Zephyr for a bit more sustain. That's always going to be quite nice. And, well, for Whitemon, he's got nothing queued up either, Jonathan. But he just needs to spam Ice Path. And he's been doing a great job of it.
Yeah, just keep getting that control off. The BKBs are pretty low now on both sides. So the Ice Path can be really devastating in that choke point in the high ground as we saw before. Getting chilly for Boom.
Smoke up, Johnny's got double chrono available. They might commit one to just pick off one target. Zephyr. It's going to be around to cut off this smoke here from Jackie, but not going to happen yet, and they will see Gabby TPing in. They just wanted to get some wards down. Problem is, Roshan's back up. Aghanim Scepter available, Cheese available, Aegis more importantly available, and it doesn't seem like Boom are going to try and fight this.
Yeah, I think they understand it's a massive risk. Despite even just having double chrono, they've got Surrender It. 3 Ags coming out here as well. So, Cuckoo with the Ags, I mean, your Ancient's going to be gone, right? I don't know if you can even hold with a refresh up on Cuckoo as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be able to focus down the Carl DP and the Cuckoo Razor here to try and protect that Ancient. And then you've got creeps to worry about, you've got Gabby to worry about. It's not an easy scenario now, and oh boy, it's tough. If they can pull off this, it'll be a darn miracle, Jonathan, let me tell you. See what they can do. T1, they are still in no rush to try and make their way over. Shiver's Guards, multiple being built up here on Boom Esports to try and just slow down the Mega Creeps coming in. Mjolnir being built up on Jackie to have a bit more damage, and of course, again, against the Megas, very, very effective. Skem, looks like he's just trying to go for a Glimmer Cape. This man just wants to survive, and well, Tim's, he's currently AFK in base, it seems. He's chilling out. Why they're holding on? And we go, though. T1, Jackie will get back. He's got the rewind button. The shards up, but Jackie gonna get jumped. Bash is there. They lock him down. Abyssal Blade is out, but it's not enough yet. Even with the silence, Jackie is gonna be able to go for a reset back in the fountain. FBZ, he'll pop the primal split. Tornado out onto the Spectre. Just hold him in the air as they want Cuckoo first. BKB is going to be forced, but there's Jackie. He'll jump in with the chrono. It's up to Carl. Overgrowth is out. Jackie, he'll refresh. He needs another. Carl, he'll eat the cheese. Jackie, he's taking too much damage. They've silenced him up. He'll get the time walk just in time. He'll survive. But now the tier 4 towers are under siege. Boom. They've got to be desperately defending this one as they'll tornado up the Spectre once again with FBZ as Gabby. He'll move in onto Skem. He wants that Shaman. Another tornado. But they've got the Shaman down. Onto Cuckoo they go. FBZ still trying. So is the Idol. Yopaj so close yet so far. They can't take Cuckoo out. Another primal split here from the Brewmaster. They'll refresh onto the Razor. Can they finally get him? Cuckoo, how is he still alive? He'll finally drop. But now Yopaj is gone. He'll buy back. Jackie, they've got to protect that Ancient. There's your chrono out. Onto Carl again. They need the DP dead. Carl gonna get locked out with the Remnant. Ice Path gonna try and protect, but he's in trouble. Carl, he'll get the siphons onto the Jakiro Whitemon. He'll drop, but the Ancient, it's still exposed. Japoy, he'll try to protect, but now Jackie's gone. No buyback available. T1, they'll get FBZ. GG's called. Japoy's seen enough. It's going to be another draw for Boom Esports, and they are not safe. They are not safe here on Boom. Oh. You can see their faces, John. They are not looking happy.
No, definitely not. T1 does bounce back in really strong form. They take the aggression in this game. They start playing around a lot faster. They have really strong lanes coming through. They play around and push. They force the issue really early on. And for the side of Boom, they just take it slow. You know, they go for the Faces Void. They go for the farming game. They get that build up.
Carl.
Yeah,
he's happy, John. He doesn't look happy, but he's happy. Look, there it is. There